Hi, you little fifth graders. It is time to continue on with adding and subtracting decimals. Today, we're going to look at something new. Look at this number. Make sure you have a sheet of paper out. This first one we're going to do together. The next one you will complete on your own. This says 35 plus 7 41/100ths. Now notice, there is no decimal here because this is the number 35. Okay? 5's in the ones place. 3 is in the tens place. 7 is in the ones place. So when you line these up to add, you've got to make sure this 7 is underneath this 5 because you're lining them up by their place. Now look at what I did. This is what it looks like when you line it up correctly. 35 plus 7 41/100ths. The 5's in the ones place. The 7 is in the ones place. You must line them up by their place. Now, I have blank spaces here, but I also am missing a decimal. So I'm going to put my decimal and my zeros as placeholders. This is what it looks like when you add problems like this. Sometimes they're not going to give you a decimal. Sometimes it's just a whole number. When it is, make sure you line it up correctly. And now all you do is add. 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 4 is 4. 5 plus 7 is 12. Bring down the 2, carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. Make sure you bring your decimal down. 42 and 41/100ths. All right, now, here's the next one. You pause the video and solve the problem just like I did. This is all a whole number, no decimal. And here's my decimal number, 6 and 8 thousandths. Line it up correctly, add them, and then put the decimal in the answer. Pause the video. All right. When you line them up, this is what it should look like. The 7 is in the ones place. The 6 is in the ones place. I have lots of blank spaces here, and I'm missing a decimal. So I'm going to add my decimal and my zeros. And there you go. And now all I got to do is add. 0 plus 8 is 8. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 6 is 13. Bring down the 3. Carry the 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus nothing is 1. Bring down the 0. There you have it. 113 and 8 thousandths. All right, now let's try one that we've been practicing. Line those up. Add. Put the 0 in your answer. Pause the video. All right. When you line them up, this is what it should look like. 794 and 14/100ths plus 109 and 499 thousandths. I have a blank spot here. Add my 0, and then I just simply add. 0 plus 9 is 9. 4 plus 9 is 13. Write down the 3, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 4 equals 6. 4 plus 9 equals 13. Bring down the 3, carry the 1. 9 plus 1 plus 0 is 10. Bring down the 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 7 plus 1 is 9. And then I put my answer. Bring down the 0. My answer is 903 and 639 thousandths. All right, let's try it with subtraction. paper out. This time, what I just now taught you, I've got a whole number here, no decimal, and I got a decimal number here. Tens place, ones place. Ones place, tenths, hundreds. Line these two up correctly. You're going to have to put in a decimal and zeros, and then subtract. Pause the video. Alright, let's see how bad you did. I mean good. How good you did. This is what it should look like when you line it up. Like I said, 8's in the 1 place, 4's in the 1's place. I've got to add my my decimal and my 2 zeros, and now I subtract. You better not have a 7 and a 1 here. You cannot subtract 0 minus 7. So you must borrow. You can't borrow from 0. So you got to borrow from the 8. The 8 becomes a 7. The 0 becomes a 10. Now I've got to borrow for that one. The 10 becomes a 9. The 0 becomes a 10. I hope you haven't forgotten how to borrow when you subtract. Alright, now I can subtract this. 10 minus 7 equals 3. 9 minus 1 equals 8. 7 minus 4 equals 3. 9 minus nothing equals 9. I bring down my decimal. My answer is 93 and 83 hundredths. Let's try that one more time. Look at this number carefully. 371. No zeros. Hundreds place, tens place, ones place. Minus 34 and 41 hundredths. Tens place, ones place, tenths place, hundreds place. Line it up correctly, subtract. Make sure you add in your decimal and zeros and then subtract, and then put your decimal in your answer. Pause the video. Alright, let's look at it. This is what it should look like when you've got it nice and lined up. The 4's in the 1's place. This 1 is in the 1's place. It's lined up beautifully. I add my decimal. I add my zeros. Now I am ready to subtract. However, I cannot subtract 0 minus 1. I've got to borrow. There's nothing to borrow from the 0 here, so I got to come over here and borrow from the 1. That becomes a 0. The 0 becomes a 10. Now I got to borrow again, because I still haven't changed this number. The 10 becomes a 9. Now the 0 becomes a 10. Now I can subtract. 10 minus 1 equals 9. 9 minus 4 equals 5. 0 minus 4, I cannot do it. I have to borrow again. The 7 becomes a 6. The 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 equals 6. 6 minus 3 equals 3. 3 minus nothing equals 3. Okay? 336 and, as I brought down my decimal, 59 hundredths. Alright, let's practice one that we've been practicing. Both of these are decimal numbers. Line them up, subtract, put the decimal in your answer, and then pat yourself on the back. Pause the video. Alright, let's see how good you did. This is what it should look like when you line them up. I have a blank spot here. I add my 0. Now, I can subtract. However, I cannot subtract 0 minus 1. I have to borrow from the 7. It becomes a 6. The 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 1 equals 9. 6 minus 6 equals 0. 0 minus 3, can't do it. Borrow from the 6, it becomes a 5. The 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 3 equals 7. 5 minus 7, I can't do it. The 5 is smaller than the 7. So, I borrow from the 9. It becomes an 8. And then the 5 becomes a 15. 15 minus 7 equals 8. 8 minus 4 equals 4. 8 minus 1 equals 7. Then I bring down my decimal. My final answer is 748 and 709 thousandths. There you have it, boys and girls. You are now experts at adding and subtracting decimals. I know for your entire lives you've always wanted to know how to do that. So now I'm going to perform a trick for you. You see that desk? On the count of 3, I'm going to karate chop this desk and break it in half. 1, 2, 3.